Now on CoastTV News.
Coastal closure. What is the expected impact in Ocean City as the Route 50 drawbridge shuts down for repair work?
Plus, hospital cost control. We look at the legislation getting reviewed today in the Delaware State Senate and how a law passed 2 years ago could get changed.
Frigid wind chills greeting us out the door this morning. Bundle up, we have a very cold day ahead of us. I'm tracking even more Arctic air and the threat of a weekend snowstorm.
And seeing red.
Go diving toward the end zone. Touchdown!
Indiana football is the king of the college football world after winning the national championship game against Miami.
This is CoastTV News Today.
That's a little Metallica reference there for you. We're in our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick. Did you get that one?
No, okay. Matt, I didn't. I told Matt earlier, I was like, I don't know if anyone's going to pick up on that, but...
Well, you do now since I
certainly.
said it. So,
well,
yeah.
It's Tuesday, January 20th, 2026.
If you're just joining us, about 5 minutes ago, you know I always look at Chris's extended forecast.
Oh, of course.
He had a single-digit temperature for a low in the upcoming days. Grace, single-digit, not 10.
That doesn't make you very happy. How are you going to kayak if all the lakes are frozen over?
That would be a good workout, breaking through the ice. All right, but that's a few days from now. Let's focus on today. It's still going to be cold today. Let's bring in First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. He is in the Weather Center. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. I can have snow every day of the 10-day, and Matt always finds that lowest temperature. As we take a live look into Dover, we have some pretty frigid wind chills greeting us this morning. 22 degrees right now in Dover, but look at these wind chills. It feels like 11 in Milford, 13 in Millsboro, feels like 13 in Rehoboth, and 12 degrees it feels like in Salisbury right now. The winds are continuing to gust anywhere between about 20 to near 30 miles an hour there in Indian River Inlet. We're gusting to 25 in Salisbury. Now, we had a cold front push through last night. Just had a few high thin clouds pass through overnight, but for the most part, we are going to stay sunny and dry. High pressure is going to continue pushing to the east and settle right over the area through the day today. Now, we're going to have plenty of sunshine, but unfortunately not going to warm us up all that much. Wind chills are going to feel like 9 to 18 throughout the morning, and then by the afternoon, it's only going to feel like 18 to 20 degrees. We'll get those temperatures up to around 29 this afternoon, feeling like 19 by around 1 o'clock this afternoon. We'll talk about even more Arctic air into the weekend, and that sets the stage for the possibility of a significant winter storm over the weekend. I'll have the latest on that here in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Our top story this hour, starting today, the Route 50 bridge in downtown Ocean City is set to close for a few weeks to traffic.
CoastTV News reporter Elisa Weber is live in our First Alert weather Jeep in Ocean City. And Elisa, the Maryland State Highway Administration says a detour is in place.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Right now, we are actually driving on the Route 50 bridge. Going to show you this right now. As of right now, this bridge is not closed. We do expect it to close today at some point. That is what MDOT and the Maryland State Highway Administration has been saying. That closure is supposed to be in place from today, January 20th, until February 3rd. And MDOT says that the repairs are being done that require the drawbridge to be upright. MDOT says the work being done is to extend the service life of the 84-year-old bridge. There is a detour in place, which MDOT says will direct drivers to US Route 113, to Maryland Route 90, to Coastal Highway. And after February 3rd, single-lane closures will be in place, according to MDOT. They said that the time when this whole project is expected to be completed is March 3rd. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. And to give another perspective on what Elisa was just telling us about those detours, this is from our Coast Copter. Drivers will have to detour around the full closure of the Route 50 drawbridge. Officials say now through February 3rd, traffic is getting routed up US 113 near Berlin, over Route 90, and then back into town on Coastal Highway. Ocean City's fire department urging drivers to plan ahead, slow down, and give themselves extra time. And the department says staffing and resources are getting adjusted, so emergency coverage remains strong on both sides of the Assawoman Bay.
Some things to know following the full closure and detour. Occasional single-lane closures will continue until those repairs are finished. According to officials, these are expected by March 20th, weather permitting. During that time, the channel under the Route 50 bridge will remain closed to marine traffic as crews repair the draw span's mechanical system. Officials say some vessels may still pass under those flanking spans.
Happening today in Dover, Delaware State Senate is taking up Bill 213. There's some tweaks to a law that created the Diamond State Hospital Cost Review Board.
That was a big issue with hospitals. Under the law passed in 2024, the board would have authority in some cases to approve or change hospital budgets. It prompted a lawsuit by Christiana Care.
And last week, Senate Bill 213 reported out of the executive committee and was forwarded to the ready list.
While there are still a number of requirements for hospitals, the act does remove the board's authority to change budgets. And in Maryland, a number of proposed bills are set for a hearing in the Senate today. According to the state, Senate Bill 110, or Mateo's Law, requires anyone involved in a deadly crash or accident that results in life-threatening injuries to be tested for impaired driving. Senate Bill 55 requires police to state all reasons for a traffic stop on a citation or police report, and Senate Bill 12 requires landlords to provide air conditioning for renters in apartment buildings with 4 or more units.
Happening today, discussion and also possible action over safety upgrades for 2 intersections in Lewis. One of those is at New Road and Fossil Lane. The trail stops at the road with no crosswalk. Leaves people trying to walk or bike across to act as their own crossing guard. It's a similar story at the intersection of Gills Neck Road and the Lewis-Georgetown Trail, and people we spoke to tell us they're hopeful for some crosswalks or additional signs.
I feel it's necessary, yes, because there's a lot of seniors who live here and people bike that live in this area, and probably other neighborhoods who pass through here. And yes, definitely, I think it needs to be done because we have to be safe.
And the Lewis Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee will meet tonight at 5:30 to discuss these possible improvements.
This just in, we are only a few hours away from learning more about musical performances at the Delaware State Fair. According to organizers, the next installment of artists will be announced today at noon. The artists already revealed to be in attendance are Bailey Zimmerman with Chandler Walters and For King and Country, and Weird Al Yankovic with Puddles the Pity Party, that's the singing clown. The Delaware State Fair will take place from July 23rd through August 1st.
You understand he's got a big following. Last night in Miami, the Indiana Hoosiers capped an improbable ride to the top of the college football world. Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza's 12-yard touchdown run midway in the fourth quarter sealed a 27-21 win over Miami in the championship game. Indiana is the national champs, and we'll have more on this game later on CoastTV News Today. President Trump is upping the ante in his bid to take over Greenland, telling Norway's leader that he can now think less about peace and more about, quote, what is good and proper for the United States.
NBC's Alice Barr showing us that European Union countries talk options to counter the president's terror threats with trade measures of their own.
President Trump overnight leaving the National Football Championship in Florida and looking ahead to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland.
It's going to be a very interesting Davos,
where he'll come face to face with many of the European leaders antagonized by his intensifying push to take control of Greenland and tariff threats against 8 countries and close allies standing in his way.
I don't think they're going to push back too much. Look, we have to have it. They have to have this done. They can't protect it.
The president responding to a revelation from Norway's prime minister, who says he reached out about Greenland and that President Trump replied in part, quote, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace. The Norwegian leader pointing out the Nobel Committee selects the prize winners, not Norway's government. President Trump rejecting that.
If anybody thinks that Norway doesn't control the Nobel Prize, they're just kidding.
While adding that he doesn't care about the prize. That as President Trump declined to answer when NBC News asked if he would take Greenland by force. Close Republican allies downplayed that idea.
I don't foresee military intervention in Greenland. It's a small population of people, and I think diplomatic channels is the way to go. And I think
the president maintains the U.S. needs to own Greenland to guard against what he sees as threats from Russia and China to take it over, all amid the growing risk of a fresh trade war with close allies. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Back here at home, Milford police continuing to investigate a deadly crash that happened early Monday morning. You're looking at the location of that crash right here on your screen. Police say just after 6:30 a.m. a BMW was heading north on North Rehoboth Boulevard near Purdue Farms when an 81-year-old woman was hit. According to officials, she was taken to a hospital where she later died, and Milford police are continuing to investigate the cause of that crash.
New this morning, Pharmacy Market has announced plans to relocate to a larger space in Milford, with the move expected to happen in early spring. Market's new home is at 301 Northeast Front Street. That's next to Fur Baby Pet Resort, Milford location. Pharmacy Market will remain open at its current location on South Walnut Street until the move is complete, with no changes to regular hours. The new Front Street location will feature a larger single-floor layout, parking right outside, room for shopping carts, and also space for community gatherings.
And we're just getting started here on this hour of CoastTV News Today.
Coming up, Milford was one of the many places on Delmarva to honor Dr. King's legacy. What activities took place on Monday?
And a red carpet gala, how this event celebrates Latino entrepreneurs in Sussex County.
And we've activated our Chris Cam. There is First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono in the Weather Center on yet another frigid day. We check in with Chris next.
Hope you're doing best to stay warm this Tuesday morning. Delmarva, we have some bitter wind chills that are going to unfortunately greet you out the door this morning. We're at 22 in Dover, but it feels like 10 in Easton. Feels like 9 in Dover, 13 in Georgetown, and 12 in Salisbury. And that's all thanks to this Arctic air mass that we have in place and these wind gusts to near 20-25 miles an hour out of the west-northwest. Now we have plenty of clear skies out there. We're going to stay sunny. We're going to stay dry throughout the day, but very cold. We begin right around 19, feeling like 9 to 15. By the afternoon, we continue the sunshine right around 29 as we stay sunny and cold, and it's going to feel more like 19 despite that air temperature of only 29 degrees. We'll talk more about the threat of significant snow over the weekend. I'll have the latest on that here in a few minutes.
La Plaza, Delaware, and the Delaware Alliance of Latino Entrepreneurs, also known as DALE, recently celebrated their New Year's Gala. As CoastTV News' Ana Sofia Roman shows us, it meant a lot for the community.
Music, a red carpet, and dancing. All to celebrate Latino businesses and culture. For event organizers, it was a great achievement.
It's something that has never been done in Sussex County. It's one of the first ones honoring Latino entrepreneurs. So I think it is such a huge success and event, and it shows how far the Latino community has advanced.
For the first time this year, DALE launched the Delaware Latino Business Awards for 8 different categories. One of the nominees in the Beauty and Personal Care category was Lisbeth Aceves.
It was so awesome for my friends and family and my clients all to partner together, Hispanic, American, all kinds, to just come together and help nominate me for an award that's never existed before. It was an honor. And
since 2021, almost 500 businesses in southern Delaware have joined DALE.
It means that we're still very community driven, we're still very involved with our community. It shows that we are united and that we continue to foster that culture.
Celebrating businesses, one entrepreneur at a time. For the Ties That Bind Us, I'm Ana Sofia Roman.
Time is 6:18 and you are looking live at Dover. And Chris, we have another sunny day. It's also going to be another cold day. That's what we're gearing up for on this Tuesday.
Yeah, layer up this morning because we have some bitter wind chills out there. We're sunny. We're going to stay sunny and dry through the morning and afternoon. That sunrise coming up at 7:16. We are at 24 in Laurel. Dew point 6. That's an indicator of how much moisture is in the atmosphere. Bone dry. We are at 21 in Harrington, 23 in Long Neck. When you factor in the winds, it feels like 11 in Rehoboth, and now it feels like 9 in Milford, 8 in Harrington, and it feels like 11 in Laurel. Those winds continue to gust anywhere between about 20 to 30 miles an hour across the area this morning. Small craft advisories continue through the Chesapeake as well as from the Delaware Bay down through Chickateague through this evening. Now, we had a few thin clouds overnight. The cold front is now pushing offshore. Pretty quiet throughout much of the northeast and through the Midwest as high pressure moves across the area. Sunny skies for the day today will top out around 29 degrees for most areas. Some areas along the eastern shore topping out around 31. Feeling like 16 in Georgetown through the afternoon. So the sun not going to do a whole lot to warm us up through the afternoon. Those winds will continue to gust near 25 miles an hour through the afternoon. Then the winds relax through the evening and overnight, allowing for some radiational cooling. Clear skies, calm winds will drop to 14 in Georgetown overnight. So it's a cold start to our Wednesday, but we moderate. We're going to be seeing highs in the lower to mid 40s, so a seasonably cool day across the area. Then we turn even milder. We're going to be a little above average into Thursday as we top out into the lower 50s. Then another Arctic front's going to be pushing through Friday through Saturday, setting the stage for a potential significant storm taking shape across the country. And this system is going to begin to take shape over Texas and then spread across the southeast. And then eventually we're going to see some snow develop early Sunday morning. We have Arctic high pressure to the north, so the table's set. The Arctic air is there. Now the moisture rides up along the east coast and we get that snow, and that snow will likely be heavy at times through the day on Sunday. Now there's a lot of question marks as to the overall track of this storm. How close does it get? How far north does it get? The closer it gets, we could see some warm air mix in off the ocean, giving us some mixed precipitation, maybe some sleet and freezing rain at the beaches, but there is a strong likelihood we could be dealing with a wide, so high impact weather event as we go into the weekend as far as significant snow goes. So we stay dry. Most of the day on Saturday is dry but cold. 25 degrees. The snow will likely begin late Saturday night into Sunday, and there's some indications that it could even linger into Monday depending upon the overall speed and track of the storm.
Thank you, Chris. Let's stay with this cold theme in the stretch that we're dealing with. The Delaware Department of Health and Social Services is opening warming centers starting today from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. In Sussex County, there's a couple. One is at the Shipley State Service Center, another is at Adams State Service Center, and also the Laurel State Service Center. In Kent County, the Williams State Service Center is open, as is the Smyrna State Service Center. And if you're up in Newcastle County, at some point, the Canby Park office, Claymont State Service Center, and Churchman's Corporate Center.
Across Delmarva, more warming centers in Somerset County will be open today and Wednesday. According to officials, the Crisfield and Princess Anne public libraries are open from 10 a.m. to 6:45 p.m. for anyone who needs to get out of that cold.
And because of these temperatures and also the increased energy use, Milford officials are asking people to conserve power, and their ideal time today is from 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. City says it can help lower costs for customers by lowering their thermostat by 2 to 3 degrees and also wear warmer clothing.
Up next, Milford was just one of the many places on Delmarva to honor Dr. King's legacy. Which businesses held service opportunities on Monday? We'll be right back. Milford held a number of events to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on Monday. Downtown Milford Incorporated hosted the free family-friendly event at the Milford Senior Center, featuring music, reflection, and a keynote speech from Cliff Von Howell focused on service, equity, and unity. CoastTV photojournalist Matt Hibsman shows us how Milford celebrated this powerful day.
Tonight we came here to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the federal holiday of Dr. Martin Luther King, and then also to celebrate his legacy and celebrate the impact that he had on changing America.
I believe with all my heart that we are not just studying the life and the works and the methods of Dr. King, we're actually living it and putting it into action.
You said love when others said hate.
The children are our future leaders. They will inherit what we leave behind, and in order to move the country forward and to progress to replace that beloved community that Dr. King talked about, it's going to take the children and each generation after that making sure they stand on that.
There's a little bit of all ethnicities in the city of Milford, so we live the culture and we live the dream of Dr. King very well.
They call us together, not only to reflect, but to recommit ourselves to the unfinished work of justice.
Thank you. Thank you. If we listen and take heed to the teachings, then we will ultimately get back to bending that moral arc to justice.
It's a frigid start to our Tuesday morning on Delmarva as we take a live look in through Ocean City, where the temperature there is 27 degrees, but it feels like the teens there. We're going to have wall-to-wall sunshine. Ocean City, we're up to 29 by around noon, 30 into Fenwick Island. That's where we'll likely top out in those areas, right around 30 degrees, upper 20s into Lewis through the afternoon and Rehoboth. Winds will gust to 25 miles an hour, making it feel more like 17 to 20 degrees throughout the afternoon. Cambridge, plenty of sunshine after that frigid start, and a blustery afternoon in Cambridge around 30 degrees. We have Joan Warrington, Harbison, Delaware. Congratulations, you just won an umbrella from Coast TV. Coming up, we will talk about the potential for a high-impact winter storm over the weekend. I'll have the latest on that in our next half hour.
Thank you, Chris. After the break on Delaware State Fair, when organizers will announce more musical guests.
Also, review at Legislative Hall what is expected for a bill regarding hospital budgets in Delaware.
Plus, Route 50 bridge closure begins. How long officials say road work is expected to last. Coast TV News Today returns after the break.
Now on Coast TV News.
Board power proposal. What revamps to a Delaware hospital budget law could move forward today in the state Senate.
Plus, Route 50 freeze, the big bridge closure in Ocean City, and the effect it is expected to have.
Also, crosswalk calls continue.
It needs to be done because we have to be safe.
What bicycle policy measures are getting a look at today in Lewis.
Frigid wind chills greeting us out the door this morning. Bundle up. We have a very cold day ahead of us. I'm tracking even more Arctic air and the threat of a weekend snowstorm.
This is Coast TV News Today.
January 20th, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for joining us.
And we're about to hit 6:31. We just hit it right there on this Tuesday morning. And one good thing about the potential storm that Chris just referenced, I asked him during the break just a couple minutes ago, and he said the snow that we probably will get some of, is good snowman building snow.
That means that I already know my weekend plans. I need to go to the grocery store, get a large carrot for your nose so I can make my own Matt Pensick snowman. I could put your little Cavs hat on, the wine in gold. Oh, and I could put a little beer next to you and keep it cold in the snow, put a boogie board next to it.
Oh my goodness.
This is all the Matt Pensick. Oh, and how could I forget also your cowboy hat?
Yeah.
Duh.
There's a lot going on with
all
that
the
snowman.
essentials. That's it.
Well, if you do that, you'll have to take a picture and we'll post it on Monday morning. Well, let's talk about this Tuesday morning. We're going to head on over to the Weather Center, and that's where we find our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobono, on this Tuesday morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Pleasant good morning to you, Delmarva. We have some really cold air greeting us this morning, and it's due in part to the wind chills we're seeing. Plenty of clear skies out there. It's 24 degrees in Laurel, but when you factor in the wind, it feels like 11 in Laurel. 8 in Harrington, 9 in Milford, and even at the beaches, very cold. Feels like 11 in Rehoboth and 15 degrees in Ocean City. Now, the winds have gusted anywhere between about 20 to near 30 miles an hour throughout the morning, and we're going to have plenty of clear skies throughout the morning as well. And even through the day today, we have high pressure back off to the west. It's going to continue sliding eastward through the day today. So wall-to-wall sunshine through the morning and afternoon. We'll bump it up to 27 by around 11, and we'll likely top out right around the 30-degree mark for most areas, 29, 31. With the wind coming out of the northwest, gusting to near 25 miles an hour. So it's going to feel like the teens for most of the day. Coming up, I'll have the latest on that potential winter storm over the weekend in my full 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Chris. And it's our top story this half hour. The Route 50 bridge in downtown Ocean City set to close for a few weeks of traffic starting today.
Yeah, we have our Elisa Weber live in our first alert weather Jeep in Ocean City, and the Maryland State Highway Administration says a detour is in place. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Right now we are actually driving on the Route 50 bridge, going to show you our view right now, a beautiful sunrise right there in the distance. But MDOT says that this area is expected to be closed from today, January 20th, until February 3rd. MDOT says the repairs being done require the drawbridge to be upright. MDOT says the work being done is to extend the service life of the 84-year-old bridge. There is a detour in place, which MDOT says will direct drivers to U.S. Route 113, to Maryland Route 90 to Coastal Highway. Here's what one person who uses the bridge had to say about the timing of the construction.
Now's the perfect time to actually have it closed because it is off season, and a lot of the businesses down here are closed, and there's not a lot of tourist activity coming across the bridge, and the boat traffic is less.
And after February 3rd, MDOT says that single lane closures will be in place until the project is complete. The estimated date of completion is March 3rd. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. And for further perspective on what Elisa was telling us about those detours, this is from our Coast Copter. Drivers will have to detour around the full closure of the Route 50 drawbridge, and officials say it's now through February 3rd. Traffic getting routed up US 113 near Berlin, over Route 90, back into town on Coastal Highway. Ocean City's fire department urging drivers to plan ahead, slow down, and give themselves extra time. The department says staffing and resources, those are getting adjusted so emergency coverage remains strong on both sides of the Assawoman Bay.
Happening today in Dover, the Delaware State Senate is taking up Bill 213, which are some tweaks to the law that created the Diamond State Hospital Cost Review Board.
That was a big issue, if you recall, with hospitals. Under the law, it was passed in 2024. The board would have authority in some cases to approve or change hospital budgets. It prompted a lawsuit by Christiana Care.
Last week, Senate Bill 213 reported out of the executive committee and was forwarded to the ready list.
And while there's still a number of requirements for hospitals, the act does remove the board's authority to change budgets. This just in, we're only a few hours away from learning about more musical performances at the Delaware State Fair. According to organizers, the next installment of artists gets announced today at noon. The artists already revealed for the fair are Bailey Zimmerman with Chandler Walters for King and Country, and Weird Al Yankovic with Puddle's Pity Party. The Delaware State Fair takes place from July 23rd to August 1st.
Happening today, discussion and possible action over safety upgrades for two intersections in Lewis at New Road and Foskel Lane. The trail stops and the road with no crosswalk. That leaves people trying to walk or bike across their own crossing guard. It's a similar story at the intersection of Gills Neck Road and the Lewis-Georgetown Trail. People say it's dangerous getting off and onto the road to go into the city.
And also taking place at that very same meeting, we have discussion and also possible action on a proposal to move stop signs at Monroe and Railroad Avenues. According to the agenda, there is a recommendation to lower the speed limit in the city, and the Lewis Public Library installing a bulletin board next to the trail at Stango Park. Lewis Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee meets tonight at 5:30. And it's just in, protests continuing in Minnesota against the actions of immigration enforcement.
Also, the Justice Department appealing a judge's order restricting how federal agents respond to demonstrators. Reed Binion showing us the increasing tensions in the state.
Ice out! Ice out!
Anti-ICE protesters interrupting service at a St. Paul, Minnesota church on Sunday.
Renee Good!
The demonstrators said they were there to protest a top ICE official in the Twin Cities who apparently also serves as a pastor. Within hours, the Justice Department announced an investigation into the protesters. The demonstration, another example of growing tensions in Minnesota, coming as the Pentagon orders roughly 1,500 active duty soldiers to prepare for possible deployment to the state. Meanwhile, a lawyer for the family of Renee Good, who was fatally shot by an ICE agent earlier this month, is pushing for an investigation.
Let's let an investigator get all the facts and ultimately a judge or jury determine.
Sources now say the FBI did initially open a civil rights investigation into the agent who shot Good, but the focus quickly shifted to whether the agent was assaulted, with the probe now focused on the conduct of Good and those around her, including her widow. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said the Justice Department only investigates law enforcement shootings when it's appropriate, and, quote, that's not the case here.
Todd Blanche is telling us that he's determining on his own that that was a defensible act without an investigation.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
President Donald Trump taking to social media to post a screenshot of a message reportedly between himself and French President Emmanuel Macron. This caption on social media says, quote, note from President Emmanuel Macron of France. Macron has recently blasted Trump's threat of tariffs over Greenland as, quote, unacceptable.
And we have a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Brandywine Valley SPCA honors Dr. King, how people spent the day of service at the animal shelter.
Also, who's your champion? Indiana football reigns supreme over the college football world.
And Sphere comes to a new location where the major attraction is headed to next. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
Good Tuesday morning, Delmarva, as we take a live look into Laurel. Fiery sunset there. Sunrise, I should say. 23 in Laurel. I mean, look at these wind chills. Feels like 7 in Easton, 9 in Harrington, 11 in Lewis. So some bitterly cold air greeting us out the door this morning. We're seeing gusts to near 22 in Cambridge. Clear skies throughout the peninsula, and that's the way we're going to stay through the day today. Mostly sunny skies as we struggle to get to the 30-degree mark. It's going to feel more like the teens with those wind gusts to near 25 miles an hour. You can always call our Coast TV First Alert weather phone for the latest forecast. And I will have the latest on the possibility of a high-impact winter storm over the weekend here in minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Maryland officials now announcing plans to build a venue like the Las Vegas Sphere at National Harbor in Prince George's County overlooking the Potomac River. The new Sphere will still have the exterior light display, but only have about 6,000 seats. State and local leaders say it could help replace lost entertainment venues in the area.
Dos Equis is giving new life to its most interesting man in the world advertising campaign. Actor Jonathan Goldsmith is back in his role as the most interesting man. Dos Equis is trying to turn around sales after a decline last year, and the Mexican lager faces a broader trend of people drinking less beer.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
After losing 4 straight games to end 2025, Tatnall boys basketball had won 5 straight to start January, headed into yesterday's clash against McKean. Starting off the game is Jawan Painter from the corner for 3 for the Highlanders, and they jumped out to an early lead in this one. They get another 3. It's Tyler Earhart right this second time. So Tatnall a little slow off the jump, but ball movement helps the Hornets wake up, and Mason Collins ends up being free for the layup. Then the Hornets go to Isaac Azcona with a nice mid-range jump shot for the Hornets, but the Highlanders still lead 12-8 after 1 quarter. Ayinde McClendon, though, for Tatnall gets going after the first quarter. But then Cartier Johnson responds. So back and forth we go. That's when Mason Collins takes the game into his own hands, has a nice layup, but more importantly, towards the end of the first half, gets a huge block and then takes it down for a reverse layup for the Hornets the other way. Tatnall led 28-18 at halftime and cruised after the break to a 60-37 W. Make it 6 straight wins for the Hornets. That'll do it for sports. Have a great day.
DSN at 6, Crisfield visits Pocomoke in boys basketball. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30. Tonight on DSN Plus, along with that high school basketball game, you can watch this one. We have women's college basketball, and Maryland Eastern Shore hosts Coppin State. That game is at 6 p.m. Here's something that would have seemed foreign to many college football fans up until 2 years ago. The Indiana Hoosiers are the national champs. Last night, they capped a perfect season by defeating Miami 27-21. It is the first national title in program history. The culture there changed when head coach Kirk Cignetti arrived in Bloomington prior to the start of the 2024 season.
We're 16-0. 16. National champions at Indiana University, which I know a lot of people thought was never possible. It probably is one of the greatest sports stories of all time, but it's all because of these guys and the staff. So proud of them, and it's a great night.
Indiana has gone from one of the worst football programs in college football history to the best. The Indiana Hoosiers are the 2025 national champions.
If you're having a rough week, cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com/sign up to get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Coming up today on Coast Life, literally need to get your popcorn ready. We're talking about National Popcorn Day. Pop, pop, pop. You're not going to want to miss that. Plus, jumping into the frigid water for a great cause. We're coming up on the Delaware Polar Plunge for Special Olympics. Got all sorts of things to talk about there, including how you can donate or even join in the fun. It's all coming up today on Coast Life.
And it's feeling pretty polar out there this morning. Wind chills in the single digits, only getting to 29 degrees. We should be at 45 for this time of year. Wall-to-wall sunshine, tracking the threat of a potential major winter storm over the weekend. I'll have the latest details on that in minutes.
The time is now 6:48 a.m. as we're taking a live look out at one of our favorite cameras for our sunrise reveal of the day. Chris, looking out into Laurel right now. This is absolutely gorgeous. And you know what? Who cares if it's a frigid day if we get to look at this sunrise?
I know, right? We're going to see plenty of sunshine through the day today, slowly beginning to warm us up, but we're going to struggle to get out of the 20s, I think, for most of the peninsula. There's those clear skies in Lewis, 23 degrees, but when you factor in the wind, it feels like 12 in Lewis, 9 in Milford, 8 in Harrington, 10 in Seaford. Now, we had winds, gusts through the morning, anywhere between about 20 to 25 miles an hour, still gusting to near 25 in Salisbury. And due in part to those wind gusts, we have the small craft advisories that continue for the Bay down through Chincoteague as well as the Chesapeake, and those run through 6 o'clock this evening. Plenty of clear skies, and we're going to stay really dry here over the next few days, all thanks to high pressure building in across the east, and that will keep us nice and dry through the day today. Plenty of sunshine. We get up to 29, feeling like 18 though by 1 o'clock with the wind gusts to near 25 miles an hour. Now the winds are going to calm through the evening and into the early part of our Wednesday. That's going to allow for temperatures to really bottom out, I think, overnight into Wednesday morning with clear skies. We fall to 15 in Milton, 14 in Georgetown, 12 in Greenwood. So it's a cold start to our Wednesday, but we do better by the afternoon. We continue the sunshine and we'll bump it up to around seasonable averages for this time of year, lower to mid 40s. And then by Thursday, we're back into the lower 50s. And that's ahead of an Arctic front that's going to be pushing through Friday night into Saturday. And that's going to set the stage for a potential major winter storm across the area as we go into late Saturday through Sunday night. So this storm is going to be making headlines all throughout the country as we go into the weekend. Developing across Texas, we're going to have a huge ice storm to the south, and then a huge swath of snow is going to be developing from the Ohio River Valley in through the mid-Atlantic. We have Arctic high pressure to the north, so that sets the stage. We have moisture riding over that Arctic air, and then we're going to see that precipitation shield kind of explode into early Sunday morning. Now, there's still some uncertainties as to the overall track, where that heaviest access of snow is going to set up. There's also the possibility, depending on the track, we could get some warmer air to kind of move in along the coast, changing any snow to a brief period of sleet or freezing rain. And then there's the possibility that this storm could even linger into Monday, depending upon the overall track and the speed of that area of low pressure. Behind it, we stay brutally cold into early next week. So enjoy Thursday. 51, maybe take down those Christmas decorations that are still hanging up. 38 into Friday. Clouds begin to increase. Saturday is just a cold, cloudy day, 25. We begin to see the snow arrive overnight into early Sunday morning. Sunday, we expect that snow all day with, again, the possibility of some mixing depending upon the track. And you, of course, stay with Coast TV Weather Team for all the latest throughout the week. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is all about service, and on Monday, local volunteers honored exactly that message by giving back to their community. Instead of taking the day off, many people spent the holiday at the Brandywine Valley SPCA in Georgetown. Community members pitched in wherever help was needed, from sweeping floors and wiping down windows to doing laundry and dishes, all in support of animals across Delmarva. Mary Richardson, who works at the BVSPCA, says the experience offers a unique perspective.
It's a great opportunity for people to see a side of the shelter that they don't see when they don't come in as a volunteer. There's the adopter side of the shelter, and then there's the volunteer side. And this is just another way to look at everything at the shelter.
Organizers say acts of service like these help keep Dr. King's legacy alive, reminding us that giving back can make a lasting difference both for people and pets in need. And that brings us to our coastal pet of the morning. It is 6:52 a.m. Matt Pensick.
Today's coastal pet of the day is a former BVSPCA pet, I should say. On your screen right now is Jade. Jade found her forever home 3 years ago. And get this, Jade loves watching Coast TV. Wonder who Jade's favorite anchor is.
I think, well, you've got all the cats. You're the five
You
cat
also have the
guy.
cat. You got cats.
And so does Chris. We've got
Wow,
a pretty
that's going to be a tough choice
team.
for Jade. But we do appreciate Jade watching. Hey, we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us a photo, just like Brady did from Lewis, and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen, Grace.
And you can scan the QR code at the top of your screen, submit your furry friends, or like Matt said earlier, even your fish or reptiles to Coast TV News, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all of the pets that we feature.
And we have one final check with First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. A day that, if it does get above the freezing mark, it's not going to be by much.
I know you want the warmer weather back. You're just counting down the days until
You know
summer,
what?
right?
I'm not, but I should,
You
because
should.
I do not like these 3 months.
You could have your
I do not
toes
like
in the
it,
sand
Sam, I am.
instead of your toes in your little winter boots with the snow coming, right, Chris?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you are a fan of the warm weather, unfortunately it's going to be a rough stretch of weather here, unfortunately, over the next 7 to 10 days, not only with the snow threat, but even with the Arctic air we have over the next 7 to 10 days. So we have wind chills in the single digits and teens this morning. We slowly begin to warm to only 29 this afternoon. It's going to feel like 18. Now the winds are going to be relaxing through the evening and overnight, but the temperatures are going to be falling with those clear skies, and calm winds will fall to 14. Now we do moderate a bit for at least through Thursday. 43, mostly sunny skies, 51. That is the pick of the week if you're a warm weather fan, because then we go back down to 25 behind an Arctic front, and then all eyes are on Sunday and even into early Monday for that potential high impact winter storm across the area, and we stay quite cold into early next week. There's Matt Pensick's 9 degrees by early Wednesday.
That's what I was talking about
Yes.
a half hour ago, Chris. That 9 single digit.
That's ruffling your feathers, huh? Well, thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11.
And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our Coast TV News. Download that weather app, too. That's a good way to track those hour-by-hour temperatures. And until we see you for Coast TV News midday, have a great Tuesday morning, everybody.